Hi guys, today we're going to be taking a look at some tips at working from home. So we'll look at calling both in the desktop app and on mobile. We'll have a look at co-authoring files and some quick ways to get set up doing that. And we'll have a look at turning off your notifications to protect your work-life balance so that your work doesn't blend into your life at home. I'm Gavin Jones, I'm Transformation Manager for a Fortune 500 company, and all the tips we put on YouTube have either come out of real-life examples from work or from questions in the YouTube comments. So if there's something we haven't covered, then let us know in the comments below. Remember to subscribe and hit the bell icon if you haven't already. We've got a new video on Teams coming out every Tuesday, and if you hit the bell icon you'll get notified every time we release a new video. And if you haven't already, click the free download link in the description below. It's a deck that we use for training, and it's got most of the tips we put out on Teams all in one place written down for you. So let's get into Teams and have a look at some tips for working from home. Okay, so obviously there's lots going on in the world, and lots of people needing to work from home, more so than ever. So the idea of this video is just to wrap together some of the tips we've got from other videos which might help you working from home if you're new to working from home. So hopefully these tips will help, and it'll be a bit shorter just to get you straight into Teams and using some of the main functionality that you'll need to work from home. So without further ado, let's jump in. I'm assuming in the first bit of this video that you've never used Teams proper before, in that you haven't got a team set up already. You're just new to work from home. It's going to be quite temporary. You don't want to know all of the functionalities that you can do in Teams. You probably just want to get on doing calling to other people and collaborate on some files. So the quickest way of doing that, if you haven't already got a team set up, is just to go straight into chat, which is private chat. You can have one-to-one chat or group chat. So you would start a new chat by clicking this box at the top. If you've already chatted to somebody, it'll pop up the history because everything's sort of permanent in Teams. So I'm going to chat with my alter ego, my personal email. And if you wanted to add more people into your group chat, you just add them at the top. Once you start typing, you get some other options. So you can add more people into the chat from there, and you just type in the names of the people in your organization and bring them into that chat. You used to get a pop-up box saying, do you want to add them to the entire history of the chat or just to the last few days, etc., something like that. But if you start from scratch, set up a group chat like that. You can name the group chat as well if you wanted to. And a lot of the things that you get access to from setting up a team, you get in private chat anyway. So if we just cover calling first, if you just want to call one-on-one, just start a chat with somebody and hit the video calling button or the audio call button. We'll have a look at some of the in-call options a little bit later. If you just have already phoned them on the phone, because your habit is to just phone them, you can share your screen in Teams without doing an audio call. So that's quite handy that you can just get someone on the phone and then just share your screen if you want to talk through something with them. So that's the best way to do an impromptu call. If you're doing an impromptu call, it's probably going to be one-to-one. If you want to do an impromptu call with a group, same thing, just start a group chat and then hit one of the call buttons. It's going to call everybody at the same time, and whoever answers will pop up into that call. Obviously, we've got the calls option as well. Same thing, apart from you can't chat until you're calling the person. So the calls bit I tend not to use that often, because usually you're pinging someone to say, are you free for a call, and then have a call. If you go to calls, you have to call them first. It's like literally you call them and then it pops up. Obviously, you've still got the same chat options in the call as you would if you call them through the chat bit. So you probably either want to do impromptu call, which is going to be probably one-to-one, or you want to schedule a call. And the easiest way to schedule a call, if you've never used Teams, is just to jump into Outlook. Assume you've got the desktop app installed, you'll have this new Teams meeting button at the top. Either you can click it there, or when you go to click a new meeting request, the button will be there as well. And then when you hit Teams meeting, it'll just change the location, add a link in for you, and then you add everybody into that meeting that you want. So we're just going to do it as a test so we can see how it shows up both in our Outlook and in Teams. So we're just gonna, if it lets us, okay, let's send it to myself. So we've just put a test meeting in for about a week's time. When we come to join it, we can either open it in Outlook and click that link. Might open it via the browser first, and then we just say, yeah, we want to open it in Teams. And you can see, even though it's in the future, we can join at any time. So it's now popped up and we are about to join the meeting. Let me just close that and we'll try just show the other way to join it. So you can just go straight to the calendar, into next week, click the meeting button there and join it straight from Teams without going via Outlook. You always get this welcome sort of screen, so you can turn your camera on and off. If you've got your camera on, you're working from home and you don't want to be like that guy that was on BBC News. It's difficult to find the video to link it in, where he's got his kids walking around the background. You can now blur your background, which is a bit difficult to see on my screen, but it sort of uses a bit of AI to blur out what's in the background. Obviously it struggles a bit when the light's a bit near my head, but if you've got people walking around the background or in a coffee shop or something to get Wi-Fi, then you can blur out back on there. Mute button on or off. And if there's already people in the call, Teams will suggest that you mute when you come in, and it'll turn that button off for you and say, oh, I've muted you because we've noticed 8 people are already in the conference call, etc. So if you're joining from a room, you can add the room here. And if you're few of you are working from home and a few of them in the office, and you all want to get video on, if you're all in the same meeting room, just one of you turn the audio on, and then there's this audio off button for everybody else. So that turns off both your microphone and your speaker, which people usually get confused about, and they're still causing loads of echo, even though they're muted because the sound's still coming out of their speakers and going to someone else's microphone. So you can join audio off there. So very quickly, just the desktop view of conference calling. So we've got the camera on here, obviously, and you probably just want to share your screen, which you can just use that share tray and desktop, and that's going to share everything on your desktop, and you can just flick to any app you want. Other useful thing is maybe whiteboard if you've got a laptop with a touchscreen, and that's going to share a whiteboard with everybody that you're on the call with, and you can then just use a touchscreen and draw some things. That's all saved in with a call, and if you've got the Microsoft Whiteboard app as part of Windows 10, that'll all be saved in there as well. So let's hang that up and then just jump onto our mobile. If you want to know anything else about the calling, I'll link in the other video that's a bit longer in the description below. But that's basically how to just get yourself quickly set up and using Teams for calling. We had a question on one of the other videos about how to join a call from your mobile. So if we jump into the mobile app, then we've got the same options. We can either just start a chat and hit the video calling or calling button there in chat, and it's going to call a person, and you can see very similar options that I'm getting now. And in call,
Gavin Jones is currently unavailable.
in the voicemail,
When you have finished,
which we don't want to do, so we'll hang that up because that was a one-to-one call, so it just went to my voicemail because I'm not logged in as it is my personal address. But anyway, you can chat, call, anything we can do with the group chat in the desktop app we can do there. If we went to calendar, I think it only shows the next few days in the mobile app, and as luck would have it, we put the call in on the 24th of March, which is over a week away from this call. So, good example though. Someone asked, how do you set up a conference call from your mobile? It's as easy as doing it in Outlook in your desktop app. You would just hit this top right icon, set up another call, call that a test, say it's today. Obviously you can add participants. Let's add someone on there so it gets us a conference call link, would be useful. Cool, so there we go. So now we've got a join button, and you can see the join button's right there on the front list of the calendar. So we'll hit join, get the same options. We can turn the video on, mic on, speaker on, or you can change that to as if you want to hold it to your ear, which is the iPhone, or just turn audio off. Join now, and obviously if we'd added other people into that, they'd get a meeting invite in their calendar, and we just click the join button either from their mobile app or their desktop or from Outlook, and that's how you would have your conference call. If you wanted to record it because people might be working from home and not available, say if they're ill, then you can record your meetings and then that will get saved back into the meeting and people can view them later. So you can start recording either from your mobile app, which is there. You can see that option at the top there, start recording. If you're working with people and they can't hear because they've got lots of stuff going on in the background or they've got kids running around, you can now turn on live captions. Only works in English at the moment, and that should start then showing up captions as you speak and other people can see what's going on. Obviously it's not 100%, especially for my mumbling voice, but it is at least a little prompt to help you whilst if you've got a noisy background potentially. So all the things you can do on 3 dots I'm doing on mobile now, you can do on the desktop app, so you can start recording from desktop app obviously. And on mobile you get some slightly different share options, so you can share your screen on Teams and share the phone screen. You can share a PowerPoint, which if you've got any saved in the cloud, you can sort of scroll to share a PowerPoint and do all that from mobile. So yeah, you can do a lot of stuff from mobile if you haven't got access to a laptop computer. You used to work on a desktop and now you've got to work from home. Actually, you can do a lot of stuff from your mobile anyway. So let me just hang up that call on our phone, and then let's jump back to the desktop app on our computer and we'll go back into the chat. So again, assuming you've not used Teams before and you're just needing to work from home quite quickly, set up a group chat with some close people you want to work with. You can co-author on files even without setting up a team. So this little paperclip icon here allows you to link a file from your OneDrive. So if you already use OneDrive and you know what that is and you've got your file stored in the cloud, you can pick a file from your OneDrive. If you're working from home and you haven't got your work computer with you, obviously that's beneficial because all your documents are in the cloud and you can get them off any computer without needing your work laptop. So say we wanted to link in a file, let's pick one from here, say, small one, and share. Then because we picked the OneDrive icon, that's going to make sure that that's going to post the file into the message. So let's say, let's work on this together. So that's actually going to post the file to the person. It's linked back to your OneDrive. So any changes that the other person makes or the other people make on that file all get saved back into the same version on your OneDrive because that's how you linked it in. If you want to create a different version in the team that people are working on and keep your one separate, just in case they messed anything up, you can do upload from my computer, and then that's going to create a different version in the Teams chat versus the one that you've got stored on your computer. The only confusing bit about that is that if you upload it from your computer and then go to OneDrive here and still select the same file, say as that, that's still going to create a different version because in the background it sort of works in OneDrive. It just moves it to a different, or copies it to a different place. But don't need to worry about that if you don't want. Just remember that if you upload it into a chat and that's the version you want to work on it from the chat. So you can then click on this and open it, or click on the 3 dots, open the desktop app. Whichever one you do, if it's any Office documents, so Word, Excel or PowerPoint, you can see who's in the file at the same time. You can both be working on multiple different things at the same time. and all the version history is saved, so you can always go back if anyone breaks anything. I'll link another video that goes through how to get back to other things in version history rather than go through it today. But anything that you do link in the chat goes in the Files tab of the chat, and you can see everything is going to be saved there. You don't have all the same folder and options that you do in the main bit of Teams, but like I say, if you're just sharing stuff to work on temporarily while you're working from home, then this might get you up and running. You can also then add tabs into chat. So if you're working on something and you didn't want it to get lost through the thread of the chat history, you get a lot of the same tabs as you do in the main version of Teams. There's some that are missing, but for the main ones, like being able to pin a file that you've just shared, for this one, you can name the tab, link to that file, and if we save that, you'll see that then sets up a tab, which we could have called anything, and is going to open that PowerPoint for us. And if we go back to the chat, it's also, because we click that option, it's got posted something pointing people to that tab. So that's how you can work on stuff all together and not lose things in the thread of a chat as well. If you want to know anything else about how to use Teams proper in the you're using the Teams bit of Teams, then probably the best place is to go is our full basic tutorial that I'll link in the description below as well. And then I just wanted to quickly cover off work-life balance. So if you're working from home and you're not used to working from home, you might find yourself bleeding into life. So obviously you haven't got the commute to and from work. You might end up working more, and you might just find yourself working into the evening hours, or the opposite. You don't want to work, but now that you're mobile or working from home temporarily, stuff just keeps pinging in all the time, and you actually want to turn it off. Maybe you haven't got a work mobile and you've had to log into some work apps on your own mobile phone. Here's how you can just sort of separate work and life separately. So first one is if you're working on a desktop app and you just need to get some work done, always remember to change your status. So by default it links to whatever you've got in Outlook, and if I reset it, it's probably going to go back to, there we go, available. So I've got no meetings in my Outlook calendar right now. If you put it to do not disturb, then no pings are going to pop up on your screen, so you can work on stuff without getting interrupted on your desktop app. You can obviously just close Teams, so if you hit the X icon, it's going to go down to the bottom right hand tray. If you right click on the tray and click quit, then that's getting rid of Teams completely and no one can get hold of you. So do not disturb is a good intermediary in that you won't get flashed up stuff, but then when there is something to go back into Teams, you go back into it and see what's there. If we just jump back into the mobile app again, then if we go to the menu icon, obviously you can still set the same status there, but in settings, there's a section in notifications called quiet hours. So if we go into quiet hours, you can schedule them and schedule quiet days. So that's that even if you've got your laptop turned off and you need your mobile phone on for other calls, say if you don't have a work and personal phone, then you can enable quiet hours in Teams so people can't ping you in Teams when you've set your quiet hours to on. So I've got it in this example from 7 at night, 7 in the morning, and quiet days is always Saturday and Sunday, so no one can ping me on Teams. It won't pop up on my mobile during those hours, and that's separate to the do not disturb that's on iOS devices as well. So you can still use stuff and get notified about things on other apps and just turn off Teams if that's useful for you. If I'm lucky enough, I got a personal phone and a work phone, so I just turn my phone off, work phone off when I don't want to get notified. But if you didn't know, you can go into settings on your iOS device and set do not disturb, which is a phone-wide do not disturb. So as well as maybe you don't want to get notified about Teams specifically, if you do have a work phone and you need it for, you've got the opposite problem, you've only got a work phone and you use that for personal use, you can set do not disturb so nothing comes through apart from people in your favourites if they're calling you. So all work calls will get diverted to answer phone, and anything that you've got set in allow calls from favourites, say, or any other group that you set up, they can get through the do not disturb. So that might be useful as well to sort of protect your work-life balance. So hopefully that helps. Give the video a like if you liked it. Remember to watch our full basic tutorial if you want to know more about the Teams part of Teams. But this video is just designed to give you some quick working from home tips. Remember, we've got a new video on Teams coming out every Tuesday, so hit the subscribe button and the bell icon if you want to get notified every time a new video comes out each week. And if you want the deck that goes along with our full basic tutorial, click the free download link in the description below. It's also useful if you just want to get some tips written down all in one place. Now lastly, at MeeTime, we think that meetings could be better at larger organisations in general, and we've got a meeting timer in the iOS App Store. Search for MeeTime if you're interested, or visit www.meetimeapps.com if you need any more information. Thanks for watching so far, and we'll see you in the next video.